I am Zach Harmon. My partner Todd Patterson and I made this our project on women's rights activists for National History Day. These activists and their contributions have helped shape the world we live in today. These women encountered many challenges, explored new ideas, and exchanged many protections and comforts in order to make these important changes to our society. Through the late 1800s and early 1900s, there were many influential women who battled to gain women's rights. These are some of the most significant activists of the women's suffrage movement.
Chose the four following people as our choice to be in our topic: Susan B. Anthony, Lucy Stone, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, and Amelia Bloomer. The reason we chose Susan is because she is a legend to our country today. Then we chose Lucy Stone because she worked along with Susan and they were great working together. We chose Elizabeth Cady Stanton because we thought that she and Susan were main focus in women's rights, and without her and all the others, I wonder what it would be like nowadays, if it were worse or better.
In 1948, Amelia Bloomer went to the first Women's Rights Convention held in Seneca Falls. She was simply an observer for the convention, but the following year she created the Lily, a temperance meaning anti-alcohol newspaper. The publication also explored the pressing women's issues of the day, along with women's suffrage. Bloomer also explored women's dress reform. At the time, women typically wore confining corsets, as well as several petticoats under their dresses. Bloomer suggested that they adopt a new style of wearing looser tops and skirts that stopped at the knee, with a pair of pants underneath. Although others had worn this style before, it was Bloomer who made it widely known.
She dedicated her life to improving the rights of American women. She used her wedding ceremony to voice her protest against martial law by not taking her husband's name. She stated, "A wife should no more take her husband's name than he should take hers. My name is my identity, and it should not be taken from me." And sometimes angry mobs of men tried to drown her out at her speeches. One night, someone stuck a hose through the stage window where the Stone was standing and doused her with icy water. A resolute Stone pulled her shawl and tighter and kept on talking.
Cady Stanton was one of the organizers and motivators that made the Seneca Falls Convention a reality. After she was not allowed to enter the World Anti-Slavery Convention that same year, she helped create the Declaration of Sentiment, which is a document that outlines what rights that women should have. She wrote and lectured on women's rights and other reforms. She and Susan B. Anthony formed the NWSA, National Women's Suffrage Association, in 1869, and led the association until 1890, when they merged with another suffrage group to become the National American Women's Suffrage Association, and where she presided along with Susan B. Anthony and Lucy Stone. Elizabeth fought and explored new ways to obtain and retain women's rights.
She was the most widely known suffragist of her generation, and she became an icon of the women's rights movement. She traveled all over the country to give the speeches to the people, along with other activists named Elizabeth Cady Stanton that she worked with. They were great leaders for the women's voting rights. In 1853 was when Anthony campaigned for the women's property rights in New York State, and 3 years later she became an agent for the anti-slavery, so she was more than women's rights activist. After the Civil War, she chose to concentrate on equal rights, women's rights association with Stanton. She voted legally in the presidential election in 1872.
The first state to give women the right to vote was Wyoming in the year 1869. The next states that allowed women the right to vote were Utah, Idaho, and Colorado. After this, there was a stall in the suffrage movement. Between 1910 and 1918, the Alaska Territory, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Michigan, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, New York, North Dakota, Oklahoma, Oregon, South Dakota, and Washington all extended their voting rights to women. On August 18, 1920, the 19th Amendment was ratified and finally guaranteed women the right to vote alongside men. After such a long and strenuous path that included lectures, read material such as publications, etc., lobbies, and practiced civil disobedience, these amazing women achieved what, quote, what many Americans considered a radical change to the Constitution, end quote. Unfortunately, many of the key figures did not live long enough to see all of the fruits of their labors. In the 1800s, there were many women that helped explore the fight for women's rights, encountered resistance to gaining equal rights, and exchanged ways to achieve women's suffrage. These women have done many amazing works, which benefit society today. After a 70-year-long battle, these powerful activists and women realized their life goal in the 19th Amendment and equal rights for women.